So, got a little bit of an update for my shotgun video that I was talking about in my previous one. You can see it is not factory. In fact, pretty much everything has been touched. Fix this. Everything's been touched on this. This is my Remington 1100. It's a 1980s 1100 3-inch mag. So it has the single port in the barrel for gas operation. Actually, I just ordered the choke machine and tool, whatever the manufacturer's called, the 1100 tactical version of the charging handle. It's like a big D shape. That's real simple. You just pull it out, put a new one in. What's not simple are these. This is a Dave's Metalworks Easy Loader. Any of you know anything about Remington 1100s, you know there's a little tiny button right here about the size of the metal on a number 2 pencil that holds the eraser on, and you have to hit that in order to unlock the lifter. You see that won't move. Well, this acts like a ramp and a funnel, and it replaces that button. So as I go to load a shell, instead of having to aim back here and hit a tiny little button, this entire thing here is the button. So all of it unlocks it. So the shells pretty much just come in and slide down that, feed down the magazine tube. Much faster. Oh, and one other cool thing about that, if I could check this with one hand. You notice there is no button up here for bolt release. That's because the button that's in here is your bolt release, and I'll hold that still. You push this up and it releases that. So now going like that is now my bolt release. Pretty cool invention. It works a lot faster. I could do quad loads with it now successfully. I've cut quite a bit of metal out of the front of the receiver here, kind of sloping the opening into the magazine tube. If you probably can't see that, I'll fix that. Inside of there you see that's a GG&G stainless follower. Really the only other things that are done to it are speed feed, stock set. This is actually a really short length of pole. My face actually sits right up here. Shooting it during winter, that's very awesome because you're generally wearing a coat. Otherwise it doesn't really make much of a difference for me. I shoot thumb forward on this side anyway, and index finger forward up here, so my thumb won't punch me in the face. Also, it's running a modified choke right now, which at 20 yards is a 6-inch pattern. So I just ordered a skeet chokes for sporting clays so I could actually hit some stuff. This is a Nordic +6 extension, so this is actually a 10-round tube +1, so it's an 11-round shotgun. This is a Nordic barrel clamp. All that's really for is just to keep this tube from unscrewing while you're shooting. It's not as fast as this shotgun, which is a 930 JM Pro. That's the 24-inch, which is now a 10+1 also. That action's faster. My finger can't really keep up with that trigger, or with that cycle rate, the bolt's cycle rate. I can keep up with this one. It's a little bit slower. It's not a hindrance necessarily, it's just I notice it. This trigger, like I said, this is an early 80s model. You have all the engraving here. You have a bunch of engraving on the side over here. And the bolt is also pretty heavily engraved. I think it looks pretty cool. It did not look good, very cool when I got it because the gun was all slick blued. It was really, really shiny black, blued finish. Very similar to this kind of finish. Actually, it's identical to that. Super, super shiny bluing. And I hated it. And all the etching that was in the blued receiver was filled with gold. It just looked horrible. It was all gaudy. If I remember, I'll try to insert a picture there. Actually, I don't even have any more pictures of that. It was just horrible looking. But I actually painted my entire receiver and barrel this textured sniper gray kind of color. This is just Krylon. It's not Cerakote or anything. I'm a fan of the wear marks. I like the way this kind of stuff here looks when you use your gun and you get a bunch of little spots where the paint kind of wears off. I really am a fan of that kind of look, so I'm not going to spend the money on getting into Cerakote. So I mean, I've got probably, I don't know, maybe 400 rounds through this since I painted it, and you can see I'm getting a little bit of chipping from where the shell, the brass is hitting. Down here on the bottom underneath the charging handle, it's got a little bit of chipping. If it'll focus. There we go. You see up on the top and down here. That's really it though. I mean, the rest of the paint, I did have a run right here, that's why it looks so terrible. But the rest of the paint is pretty great. That's the gas port. That's the bleed off for the gas port. Both sides of the barrel look like that. I think that's pretty cool. But it's actually textured. The paint itself. Let me see if I can get it. There you go. Kinda. There you go. You see the texture that's in the paint. It's a real fine texture, but it's still there, and it looks cool and it feels cool. So that's kind of what I went with. I mean, that was the only paint that was the color that I wanted anyway. So, but this, like I said, it's a 10+1 12 gauge. I'm going to be running a skeet choke here. Probably, hopefully this weekend we'll be going and doing some sporting clays and see if I could hit anything with that again. And that's pretty much it for that. Oh yeah, when I bought the gun, I have this is the cool part, I have 400 bucks into this. That's it. When I got the gun, it came with this fiber optic sight on it. It was just attached like that with some like foam double-sided tape kind of stuff. Shooting a bunch of really heavy like slugs and stuff through it blew it off of it, so I just haven't put it back on. I mean, I don't really need anything other than just the bead anyway, so if I find some of that tape that was holding it on the first time it was on. Oh, just to clarify, I took it off to paint it and then I glued it on, and that's what broke under heavy recoil, was the glue. So if I find some of that foam tape, kind of spongy kind of tape, for cheap by accident sometime, then maybe I'll put it back on. It's not a priority though. So that's my shotgun now. Pretty much done. Once I get my bolt handle, I'm gonna put a what are they called, match savers extra shell here, and maybe a side saddle. Maybe not. I do need to get something like these AP Custom quad load setups. These are $100 for these 8 shell holders though, and these are like 70 for one load 2. So I need some more gear along with a belt to put them on, unfortunately. So we'll see. If I get around to it, have some extra cash, then I'll have some more 3-gun videos up, seeing what I could do. See ya.